Mommyana time!
I'm Aaliyah, therapist, mama, and storyteller.
And I'm LaLa, the mom who's been there, done that, and still learning.
Together, we talk about love, life, family, and legacy, all through 3 generations.
Let's go, Mommyana!
What's up, world? Welcome back to Mommyana Podcast with Aaliyah. And I'm actually joined in this new season. This new season is marking a new chapter of Mommyana Podcast. And I'm joined by my mom, LaLa. Say what's up, LaLa. And I'm super excited. I know I've been gone for like a year, but now I'm back. And things are going to look slightly different, but I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So I want to talk about why I originally even started Mommyana. So I've always really loved podcasts. I listen to them all the time when I'm driving in the car, if I'm cleaning, even at work sometimes, like if I have a break or something, I always listen to podcasts. And I pretty much always have. I prefer listening to a podcast over music. Like I'll listen to music if I'm working out at the gym or something, or I don't know, if I'm just in the mood to listen to music. But I always prefer podcasts, and I always really wanted to start one, but I didn't have anyone who wanted to do it with me. So boom, I become pregnant and I'm like, this is the perfect time for me to start a podcast. And I was actually pregnant alongside 2 other first-time moms who joined me in the very first season. If you've been following along, you know exactly who they are. Shout out to Donna and Kate. Thank you so much for getting things rolling and kicked off with me. I really appreciate you guys starting this with me and just sharing everything that you shared the first time. And it was really cool because all of our babies were born like within a month of each other. So it was really cool. And I'm grateful that we got to share that time together as moms and just kind of enter motherhood together. So my whole vision for Mommyana was to really create like community and that shared motherhood experience. As a first-time mom, I think it's super important to have a community and to be able to have friends that you can talk to about motherhood. And it was just super cool, like I said, that we were all pregnant at the same time and we're going through similar experiences, and we were able to share that together. So Mommyana did not end, it just restarted, and it's going to look different now. So there was like a pause. I didn't record anything really all of 2025. The last time I recorded was December 2024. And prior to that, let me backtrack. So I did try to continue doing things solo, and I would just have some of my friends on. I would invite different friends, some who were moms, some who were not, and we would talk about a lot of different things on here. And I tried to do that all throughout 2024. But there was a lot going on for me in my life at that time. I had a high emotional load. I was going through custody court, child support court, trying to co-parent with a very narcissistic individual, and it just really took a mental toll on me. So I really needed to take the year of 2025 off just to gain clarity, to get my mind right, to get in a better healing place. And I feel like I've done that this year. And I really at that time just chose like my peace over being productive. And I'm happy that I did that. But I want to ask you, Mom, what was it like for you kind of watching me go through that season in my life where it was kind of chaotic?
It was somewhat heartbreaking because I didn't know anything about narcissistic behavior. But to hear you describe the things that you went through, it was very heartbreaking. And it's like I didn't know what to do but listen and also cry too. But since then, we have found out a lot of information about narcissists, and it's been helpful. You've shared with me different podcasts, and we listen to different views, and that's really has really enlightened me a lot, and it's helped me to be able to help you when you have questions or whenever you're going through something that's triggering you. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for my mom. She's been my greatest supporter as I've been going through all of this because it's been a lot. And I'm in a much better space now, and so is she. So just happy to move forward. So, why did I decide to kind of redo things and have my mom on here? Well, I feel like my mom is like the safest space for me. So, I felt like that was a great idea to have her on here, have someone who's trusted, who's very consistent in my life, and who also was a great mom. My mom was an amazing mom, and I desire to be just as amazing as her. And she's helping me raise my daughter too. So, I think it'll be great for her to share her experience as a mom and now as a grandma, or LaLa, because that's what Honey Bun calls her.
Right.
But I just really want to honor her motherhood and her legacy and allow her to have a voice and to talk more. And I do feel like too, through season 1 and 2, like I was going through so much mentally. I wasn't able to be my true self. I wasn't able to like really use my voice. And now I'm at a point in life where I've become a lot more comfortable using my voice and speaking on things. I don't have to be shielded or worried about like, oh, I shouldn't say this or I shouldn't say that. So this season is going to be real authentic, and I'm just happy to be back. So, Mom, we're going to have some conversations now.
Okay.
I want you to tell me, like, what was motherhood like for you in your 30s? Because you had kids later on in life. I'm 34 right now. I had my daughter when I was 29. She's about to be 5. But my mom had kids later in life, in your later mid 30s. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, I was 34 when I had my son Evan, and I was 35 when I had Aaliyah. Um, so it was almost like having twins. It really was, because they were so close in age, 15 months apart. But being a mother, I loved it. I loved it. If you consider it a job, it's the best job I've ever had. I was ready to be a mom. I did everything with them. Every single thing I did with them. I took time off. Um, when I was when I had Evan, I was going through. My mother was had breast cancer, and so I had to deal with that. I was going to school. Uh, it was a technical college. I had a dog, a boxer that I loved dearly. So I had a lot going on, and people would ask me, how do you do all of that? I just worked off adrenaline, and it was just something that I had to do. But being a mom, I loved being a mom. I couldn't, I never had a dull moment or a moment where I was discouraged or overwhelmed, because I just really liked it. I enjoyed being a mother.
Mm-hmm. And then I came busting out when she was 35 years old. So, yes, my mom was an older mom, but I think there's benefits to being an older mom too. Like you got to live your life and like experience a lot of different things. You didn't just jump straight into having kids, you know? You got to become stable. There's a lot of things you did. So, I can't imagine like if I would have had a kid as a teenager or as a young adult, like I just can't even imagine that. And I'm so happy that I waited until I was 29 too, because there's a lot of things I got to experience. You know, I got to buy a home, I got to travel, I completed undergrad. And then one thing that just came to mind when you were just saying that is me and my mom always talk about like how our lives are very similar, like almost repeating themselves. So like you said, you know, your mom was sick, she had cancer, and you had a dog. Like I mean, my situation was a little bit different, but I was almost 30 years old and I was becoming sick in the head, that's for sure, at that time. And I had a dog as well. Your dog that you had, Suni, ended up, you had to put him down. I ended up getting rid of my dog, which is a whole nother story that maybe we'll go into one day. But just very similar things. We both were facing similar challenges as far as like co-parenting, and the person that we reproduced with, like that was its own separate set of challenges too. So I just feel like me and my mom's stories are very relatable, even though they're not identical. They're very similar.
For me, I enjoyed being a single mom because it gave me full reign over my kids. I didn't have to ask, I didn't have to run anything by anybody. I had total decision making because their dad pretty much stepped back. And
He abandoned us.
yeah, basically he abandoned them. But it was heartbreaking, because I didn't expect to be a single mom. And I just knew that this person would be a part of their lives, because he didn't have his dad as a part of their life. But it was totally the opposite. But I don't regret that part as far as me being a single mom. I loved having total control. Didn't have to ask, didn't have to run anything by anybody. I did everything. I totally raised my kids by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned out awesome. My daughter, finished college. My son finished college. Both of them have jobs in their field of study that they went to college for. I couldn't be more proud of them. I brag about them on social media all the time. And even when people see it, and I have friends that also always compliment me, that you have stellar kids. Now, I'm not saying they are angels, but they never caused me any problems. I don't have any worries or anything like that. They're great kids. My son is married and he has a beautiful wife that I adore immensely. And she just fits right into the family. And now we have Honey Bun. And that is the highlight for me. It's a total different type of love. Not that I don't love my kids, but
she loves Honey Bun more.
That little girl,
she's our heart, for sure.
She's like the other heartbeat to me. Yes, and when I can go a day or so, two without her, and then I'm like in mourning, like, what am I going to do? Where is she at? I'm constantly looking at all the photos that she and I take on my phone all the time. I mean,
and that just brings up something else that comes to mind too, that you mentioned too. I'm like, I was in school too, getting my master's when I was pregnant. So that's another similarity that we had too. You were in school, I was in school, and we both finished too. So that's good. What was it like for you raising two kids without your mom? Because I can't even imagine like you not being cared for me and having Honey Bun. Like, that would be crazy.
At the time that when my mom was here, she was ill, so she wasn't really able to fully care for them like I do with Honey Bun or even with the two of you. But whatever she contributed, it was helpful. But then after she passed away, it was totally me. I did have my sister and my sister-in-law, but and really. Cody. And Cody. Cody was a young girl. She loved being with my kids. She loved being with my kids, and she practically stayed here even when my mom was alive. She loved being around Evan. She loved being around Nani, and to this day, Nani and Cody have a really good relationship. In fact, she has a good relationship with both of them.
That's big sis.
Yes, that was helpful. And it's good to have support, especially if it's family. But then you have friends that are almost like family and sometimes better. So it's good to always have some type of support.
Yeah. You had godmama?
Yes, I did have a girlfriend that I met while I was working. And her and her husband became my kids' godparents, and they were very helpful, having the kids over, spend the night, buying them things. They were very good godparents to them.
Yeah, definitely. She was a great godmama. So the theme of the new podcast now is 3 generations, 1 legacy, with my mom being one generation, me, and then Honey Bun being the next. So how would you compare the way you were parented, or I would say even the way you parented us and then to now, like with Honey Bun, like how would you compare that?
It's different. It's different because she can get away with
Everything.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was pretty strict with you all, which I don't think you all regretted, but I had to have control, total control, and I had to have not a routine. I had to have a routine, order, discipline. Um, but my focus was on making you all to be self-sufficient when you became young adults, not to be dependent on me. And I used to always drill into Evan, um, if you can't get something done, who do you depend on? And he would say you. I said, no, you don't depend on me. Nobody does things that you need to have done better than you. Mm-hmm. And that's what I train them to take care of business.
Mm-hmm. And then, so how was the way you were parented different from the way you parented us?
My mom, was an older person, born in 1925, and so really Southern country girl, had her first kid when she was 14. So we didn't communicate like my daughter. And me and Aaliyah, we talk about a lot of things. We're locked in, like she tells you.
We besties.
But there were things that she didn't feel comfortable talking to me about. So it was different. However, she did tell me certain things that I knew I shouldn't do, of course, and I got bumped upside the head and did them anyway, which a lot of kids still do to this day. But it was very different. But a lot of things that she told me, even some of her old sayings, I still say today. Mm-hmm. And my grandbaby says, is that what grandma used to say? And I said, yeah, she did. Mm-hmm. So it was different. It was different, but it really helped me to be the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm. And I would say for me, like my mom was a great mom, as she mentioned. She did a lot of things with us. I remember traveling a lot as a kid, trying a lot of different restaurants. We went on a cruise. She did a lot of things for us. We went to Universal Studios multiple times, and it was always just us, like always, all the time. So for me, and my mom she was strict but loving. Like my mom never talked to us crazy. She ain't never smacked me or called me out of my name or anything like that. And I would absolutely never do that to my daughter. She never even told us to shut up before, which I find highly disrespectful. I would never tell my daughter to shut up either. So I think that's something that obviously I'm carrying, that form of gentle parenting, because I'm still very stern with Honey Bun, and my mom was very stern with us too. Mm-hmm. And I think I was always more afraid of like disappointing her than anything. Like I'd rather get a whooping than disappoint her, because it just made me feel so bad inside. And then I think me and my mom were always close, but as I've gotten older, we've just gotten even more and more closer. It's funny because, a lot of parents are like, I'm not one of your little friends, but like I am her little friend now.
Yeah. It's different though. It's different. It's not the type of friendship that you would have with your friends.
Yeah.
But we are very close. We're very close. And we ask each other for their opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do, for sure. Mm-hmm. And for me, parenting Honey Bun, like I don't want to parent her out of like a place of survival mode, which is why like healing is very important and was very important to me. And then I did therapy. I still am in therapy. Over the course of the last year, I've gotten a new job and I've been able to step into the therapeutic space as a therapist myself. So just learning different techniques and stuff and being able to like even implement that in the way that that I'm raising my daughter, with more like therapeutic awareness, I'd say. Teaching her to have boundaries, because that's definitely something that I lacked. And just teaching her it's okay to express yourself if you're uncomfortable with a situation. It's okay to say no. Like, I think me and my mom growing up had very terrible people pleasing ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I like have really worked hard to break, and just being okay with like no being a complete sentence, you know, not having to go out of my way for people. I absolutely don't want my daughter to carry on that same trait, because that's not a good thing. So yeah, I think I'm parenting out of a more healed space than maybe my mom was, but there's a lot more, we're afforded a lot more information than you were back then too.
Yes.
Therapy is more so promoted now than it was back then. You know, back then people like, oh, you crazy. You talking to a therapist, something's wrong with you.
Or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, therapy is super important and helpful, just to be talking to somebody that you don't know, that can give you a completely unbiased opinion, and that you could just get things off of your chest with. So I highly encourage it for everyone. If you don't have you a therapist, get you one. I could be your therapist, okay? For real.
I can too. I dropped some gems.
Yeah, she be gem dropping too. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. That was just us coming back, letting you guys know we back on the scene with Mommyana. Moving forward, we're going to have a lot of different topics. There's going to be different guests on here. We'll have Honey Bun. She'll have different moments on here as well. So look forward to seeing her.
And she's a talker too.
Yes, my girl's not shy at all, at all. We'll talk about healing. We'll talk more about legacy. We'll talk about everything. So stay tuned. Thanks for sticking with your girl, and we look forward to seeing more. Go ahead and slide in the DMs if you're interested in being a guest on here, if you have any questions. And then make sure you follow me on TikTok at Mommyana Podcast, Instagram Mommyana Podcast, Facebook Mommyana Podcast, everything Mommyana Podcast. All right. And we'll holla back. We'll see y'all next time.